Hearing none, approved. Secretary will now conduct the roll call vote.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Hunasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Soberi, Senate President Pimentel.
With 19 affirmative votes, 0 negative votes, Senate Bill number 1738 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to recognize the Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator.
May I know, Mr. President, how my vote was counted?
Affirmative.
Mr. President, I vote no. So
Only?
therefore, maybe...
Okay, we will correct. Only one. Who else? Senator Ontiveros, what is the...
Mr. President, and with the indulgence of the good sponsor whom I consulted earlier, I should have raised this point that I would like to make of record last Monday during the period of interpellation and then in the period of amendments. Nga lang, Mr. President, nagkaroon ng medical emergency at kinailangan kong mag-absent, tumakbo sa emergency room para sa isang anak ko. I would have wanted, Mr. President, to raise in the period of interpellation and then in the period of amendments, which I was updated later that evening na hindi na po ipinagpatuloy dahil ang naging kasunduan ay yung mga amyenda ay ipapasok na lamang sa bicameral conference. Additional safeguards, Mr. President, to the proposed Philippine Identification System Act. Lalong-lalo na po, Mr. President, dun sa letter B ng section allowing the state to access a person's private information. Bagamat in-update po ako ng good sponsor na meron ng letter C na disclosures of persons' private information be carried out upon the order of a competent court, pero meron pong naunang letter B na when the compelling interest of public health or safety so requires. Kaya po sana, Mr. President, kung present lang ako nung Lunes at na-erase ko ito sa period of interpellation, ay dahil po, sino po yung magtatakda na kailan ang compelling interest of public health, kailan compelling interest of public safety na nangangailangan nitong pag-access ng impormasyon ng isang mamamayan sa ilalim ng Philippine Identification System. At kung present po ako nung Lunes at kung nagpatuloy po yung period of amendments, Mr. President, ay dapat sana panukala ako ng ganitong proposed amendment na pagsasamahin ang sections B at C para madagdagan pa ng safeguards yung usapin ng civil liberties sa Philippine Identification System. Kamakailan ko lamang po na ipakita sa good sponsor yung ganito pong proposed language ng amyenda sana na inihain ko noong Lunes. Letter B, when the compelling interest of public health or safety so requires, comma, upon the order of any competent court, comma, relevant information may be disclosed, comma, provided that the risk of significant harm to the public is established and the owner of the information is notified within 72 hours of the fact of such disclosure. Sa ganyang sanang paraan, Mr. President, kung hindi ako kinailangan dahil sa isang medical emergency noong Lunes na for the first time sa higit 1.5 taon ma-absent dito po sa ating session, ay mas mabibigyan ng safeguard itong pagtakda ng compelling interest of public health or safety sa pamamagitan nung isa pang seksyon na nandoon na sa bill, yung all disclosures of persons' private information be carried out solely upon the order of a competent court. Nung in-update po ako, Mr. President, sa parliamentary status ng bill, sinabi nga na yung amyenda ay ipapasok na lamang sa bicameral conference. Kaya naglalaban po talaga yung kalooban ko, Mr. President, at inamin ko po ito sa good sponsor. Dahil kung sa proseso lamang na hindi ako nakadalo sa period of interpellation at hindi po tayo nagkaroon ng period of amendments, ay mapipilitan akong bumoto ng no sa panukala. Ito po yung nais ko pong hingian ng guidance sa inyo, Mr. President, at sa good sponsor. Dahil kung hindi ko po ma-reconcile sa sarili ko, ay lalo na dun sa usapin ng proseso, yung hindi ko nalahukan, ay mapipilitan din po akong bumoto ng no, Mr. President.
Senator Lacson.
Mr. President, I was just informed by the principal sponsor of this bill, counterpart bill in the House, that definitely there will be a bicameral conference. And yes, we will seriously consider and even fight for the supposed amendment of the good distinguished colleague from Panay Island. As a matter of fact, I'm inviting her to be a member of the bicameral conference committee of the Senate panel, Mr. President.
Which we will name in due time.
Yes, Mr. President. Having said that, and if this is the proper time, may I manifest that the following be made? Not yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So I think we need to clarify now from Senator Ontiveros what is her vote, so I can announce properly the result of the vote.
So, Mr. President, on the condition that I graciously accept the assurance of the good sponsor that I will be made a member of the Senate contingent to the bicameral conference, and with the assurance of the Senate President that indeed I will be made a member at the proper time upon the motion of the good sponsor, precisely to fight for this amendment to the bill at this point in time, and which would be my only reason to vote for the bill to vote for the bicameral version, to include that section that when the compelling interest of public health or safety so requires, upon the order of any competent court, relevant information may be disclosed, provided that the risk of significant harm to the public is established and the owner of the information is notified within 72 hours of the fact of such disclosure. On those conditions, Mr. President, I vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the good sponsor.
Let Senator Lacson.
I would just like to manifest that I cannot assure her membership because it's subject to the approval of the minority leader. But if she is recommended to be a member of the Senate panel, then we'll gladly accept, Mr. President.
Yes. Again, Senator Ontiveros, what else?
Thank you, Mr. President. In that case po, dahil kahit pa mabuti yung dahilan ko ng pag-absent nung Lunes bilang magulang ng isang anak, dahil hindi ko nagawa yung dapat ko sanang nagawa, na nag-interpellate sa puntong ito ng dagdag na safeguard sa usapin ng when the public safety and public health so require, na idugtong po doon yung usapin ng upon the order of a competent court with full confidence in the good faith of the good sponsor who has never failed me sa mga usapan namin, sa mga usaping legislatura. Still, given that we are talking about this moment and not a future moment that I may possibly be made a member of the Bicameral Conference Committee, ipagkakatiwala ko na lamang po yung proposed amendment ko sa good sponsor at sa ating minority leader na isa ring author. And may I correct my earlier manifestation, Mr. President, on this vote, I vote no to the bill on the Philippine
Anybody else?
identification system. Salamat po, Mr.
Anybody else
President.
who feels that his or her vote was not counted correctly? Dun muna tayo, not yet in the explanation of vote. Okay, so now I will now announce the correct result. 17, no? With 17 affirmative votes, 2 negative votes, Senate Bill number 1738 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to recognize Senator Recto.
Senator Recto is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, allow me to congratulate the main sponsors, Senators Ping and Frank, for writing the specs of a national ID card, which is so valuable and virtuous that people won't be leaving home without it. As I register my affirmative vote, let me reiterate the points that I raised in my sponsorship speech and during my interpellation of the kind sponsor. This law will have a price tag of 25 billion spread over 5 years. The cost will come up to 220 pesos per individual based on a 2022 population of 114 million. While card holders will get their number and card for free, they will, however, indirectly pay for it as taxpayers. So I expect the Senate, true to its tradition of rigorously scrutinizing the budget, will be unsparing in demanding what the 25 billion could deliver. I have to stress this, Mr. President, because while this bill mandates the establishment of an ID system, it does not grant the executive a blank check to implement. That will still be authorized by congressional appropriations. But I do hope, however, that part of the outlay will be used to assist data capture points run by local government units, because for most of the population, these are offices nearest to them. I think that for 25 billion, it would not be too much to expect that what will be given to us is an ID system which will be safe, secure, and will serve as a substitute for the accordion of government cards that we carry in our wallets. The data collected and maintained should be protected as a national treasure, guarded at all times against the threats from within and without, because an enemy with malware is as dangerous as one with a missile. I'm also comforted, Mr. President, by the assurance made by the good sponsors that during the registration phase and even after, the failure to present the national ID will never be ground for the denial or forfeiture of government services. I vote yes, Mr. President.
Who else? Senator Pangilinan.
Mr. President, I will just submit a written explanation of my vote so that
Thank
it
you.
may be placed on record.
Senator Villanueva.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I vote yes. Magbubukas ng oportunidad sa bawat Filipino ang panukalang Philippine Identification System. Let's take the case of a job seeker or a fresh graduate who goes through the burden of securing multifarious documents just to apply for a job. At present, he or she needs to get a police and NBI clearance, barangay clearance, birth certificate, marriage certificate, tax identification number. The list goes on and on, depending on the nature of employment. Mr. President, if we have a real unified ID system, the process of job application will never be that cumbersome for first-time job seekers, especially millennials who want to accomplish things in a swift manner. Hindi po ba't sayang talaga ang oras sa pagkuha ng sari-saring dokumento, sa pagtenga sa pila, sa pagpapalik-balik sa iba't iba pang at iba at magkakalayong mga ahensya ng ating gobyerno? Hindi po ba't mas madali kung yung halos 14 na iba't ibang ID o dokumento na hawak ng mga Pilipino ngayon ay mapagsama balang araw sa isang national ID card? Mr. President, the national ID system can make social inclusion possible by providing official identification to Filipinos, most especially indigenous peoples, who usually have no access to documents required for employment, financial or banking services, and education and training. Naalala ko po, Mr. President, doon po sa TESDA, nanawagan po tayo noon sa mga mall operators na maglagay ng specialista desk sa loob ng kanilang mga malls. Tumugon po dito ang Robinsons Land Corporation. At ang nangyari po noon, 2014, natatandaan ko, 19 na Robinsons Malls sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas nagkaroon ng TESDA specialista desk. a one-stop shop on TechVoc and TESDAS programs and services. Ganito po ang imahe sa isip ko ng panukalang National ID System. Kumpleto, mabilis, at dekalidad na serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan. Noon pa, pangarap na po natin na sana, balang araw, kapag may isang Pilipinong lumapit sa anumang ahensya ng gobyerno, magpapakita lang siya ng isang ID, mapagkakaaloban na siya ng serbisyo. Mr. President, we believe that a good national ID system will result to a better delivery of and access to government services because it can reduce cost both to the government and to the Filipino citizens. Kaya't suportado po natin ang Senate Bill number 1738, lalo na't isa po ang Pilipinas sa natitirang 9 na bansa sa buong mundo na wala pang national ID system. Sa tingin ko po, may kaugnayan po ito sa sitwasyon natin ngayon sa halos 8 milyong Pilipino na walang birth certificate, Mr. President. Kung wala man lang pong birth registration ang 8 milyong kababayan natin, paano po sila makakapasok sa trabaho, makakakuha ng serbisyo ng ating pamahalaan? However, Mr. President, we don't want indiscriminate data collection, and we believe that the data to be collected by the Philippine Registry for the national ID shall be limited to demographic information like name, sex, date, and place of birth, and biometrics information like facial image and fingerprints. These data and information are adequate to help facilitate jobs and services to our people. Again, Mr. President, we support the funding of the national ID system amounting 2 billion pesos, which I believe has already been made available in the General Appropriations Act under the budget of the Philippine Statistics Authority. We take this opportunity to thank our good friend and mentor, Senator Ping Lacson, for sponsoring this measure, and rest assured that we will support the passage of this Senate Bill 1738 because we believe that it can open up more opportunities to all Filipinos. Thank you, Mr. President, and may God bless us all.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move for consideration for third reading of House Bill 5160 under Committee Report number 221.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, may we request the Secretary to read the title of the measure?
Secretary, please do so.
An act converting the municipality of Santo Tomas in the province of Batangas